What's up, you guys? I'm Rachel DeMita, and welcome to the Courtside Club. Today, I have some WNBA off-season updates for you guys, and then there's also one NBA story that I want to cover today. So let's jump right in, and let's start with the ongoing WNBA CBA negotiations. If you guys remember, the deadline for these first rounds, or the first deadline in the CBA negotiations, is this Friday, so in 2 days, October 31st. Now, most of us were expecting that the league and the players would not get a deal done by that time, and it looks like that is very well not going to happen. Alexa Filippo reported that the WNBA has offered players a 30-day extension to continue negotiations for a new collective bargaining agreement. An extension before the current CBA expires Friday would allow both sides more time to work toward a new deal, even though if one is not implemented, both parties could continue to negotiate in good faith. If an extension is not reached, it could open the door for a potential work stoppage, either a strike initiated by the players or a lockout initiated by the owners. A source said the players might be willing to consider an extension under the right circumstances, but they feel those circumstances do not yet exist. And that line in this article is the one that stood out to me, because basically the players at this point in time are saying they're not sure if they're even going to accept the offer of an extension. So basically there's three options that you can take. You can either accept the extension that was given by the WNBA. You can not take the extension, but you can continue negotiating in good faith, which I wouldn't recommend because I've done that before and got burned by it. So I wouldn't recommend that. Or thirdly, the players could strike. The players could strike, or the owners could initiate a lockout. Now, I see in this scenario, if the players do not accept the extension, then they would just say that they were going to strike in this situation. And from my understanding, if they were to not accept this extension, and again, they have like less than 48 hours to do it at this point, if they're not going to accept it and they will go on strike, what it does is it makes it so these players are no longer part of the team. They're just like not working with the team. That means the facility's shut. They're not going to be doing workouts. They don't have access to the court, the workout room, all of these types of things. And I've said in the past, things like this actually hurt the players who are not these superstar players. They hurt the middle tier and lower level players more than they actually hurt the superstar players, because superstar players at this point in time, they're making a lot more money. They have a lot more resources and access to get into other gyms, work with other trainers. But this was alarming to me that the players said that the circumstances do not exist yet for them to just accept an extension. Now, I don't know if they're still playing hardball, if they're going to continue to play hardball until the very last moment, and then they'll say, okay, sure, we'll take an extension. During the last CBA negotiations in 2019, they did create a 60-day extension, and then the CBA got finished in January of 2020. And at that time, that did not cause, it was also COVID year, so I'd have to look back and see like exactly what, it's kind of a weird one to base our comparisons off of, but it seems like if they were to get it done by January, it wouldn't stall the season at all. But January is only a couple months away, and then you have the holidays in November and December. So it's getting sticky here, you guys, okay? It's getting sticky. Now, WNBA PA senior advisor and legal counsel Aaron D. Drake said that we have worked hard to be able to say on Friday we did it. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. In a dance, it takes two to tango, and it has been difficult to find a beat, to find a rhythm, to find the same sense of urgency from the league, just to be frank, to get this done. Now, we've also gone over this in previous videos. It seems like there's a he said, she said going on between the players and the owners and the WNBA. Both sides are kind of just pointing fingers. There's been so much that has been wildly unprofessional, in my personal opinion. We've went over all of those things in previous videos, but this is another thing where the spokesperson for the WNBA PA is blaming the WNBA and saying like, they're just difficult to work with. And now the WNBA came back with their statement, and here's what they had to say. They said, "We have been negotiating with the Players Association in good faith and with urgency for several months with the goal of finalizing a new collective bargaining agreement as quickly as possible. Throughout this process, we have been clear that our top priority is reaching a new collective bargaining agreement that addresses players' ask for significant increases in pay, benefits, and enhancements to their experience while ensuring the long-term growth and success of the league and its teams. We urge the Players Association to spend less time disseminating public information and more time joining us in constructive engagement across the board. That statement also stood out to me because the WNBA PA and the players within the WNBA have been leaking a lot of information over the past few months. Like, Like, we've heard it from Satu Sabli when the Unrivaled stuff came about. We've heard the things that Nafisa Collier had to say. Now, the things that Nafisa Collier had to say, if those things are true, those hold a lot of weight, and those kind of shed a little bit of light into the WNBA ownership and kind of their motives behind the scenes. But we've had multiple instances where players are leaking information that we as the public did not need to know. We don't need to know what they are negotiating, all of the terms, all of the details. I think is actually hurting the leverage of the WNBA when they continue to do things like we talked about it in our last video that I made about this, where they clapped back on Instagram to Adam Silver talking about this CBA on the Good Morning Show or morning, I don't know, one of the morning shows. He was basically saying that share isn't the right word and that the players are going to get a huge increase in salary, but he kind of skirted around the revenue percentage split that the players have been asking for. And again, that has been one of the biggest things when it comes to these negotiations. The current split that the players are getting is 9%. But if you look at the WNBA compared to the NBA, compared to really any other sports league, the WNBA only owns 42% of their own league, 16% goes to outside shareholders, and then the NBA owns another 42%. So it's going to be very hard for the players to get the revenue percentage that they are asking for because there is less of the pie that they are even able to pull from. Now, the league also said that the Players Association has yet to offer a viable economic proposal and has repeatedly refused to engage in any meaningful way on many of our proposal terms, and that it has offered an uncapped revenue sharing model that is directly tied to the league's performance. And this was something else too. Again, this is all he said, she said. It's all very dramatic. It's all very messy. It all feels unprofessional across the board. Like, I get stressed out even covering this, but it seems like WNBA players are coming to the table. They are saying exactly what they want and they're not budging on that. We don't know the exact terms of exactly what they want. We don't know exactly how much revenue the WNBA is bringing in. So we don't know if what they're sharing and what they're standing by is something that's viable, and the WNBA could still be a profitable and successful league if they just give in to basically what the players are asking for. But it seems like this revenue split across the board, that's the thing that they're standing on. But the league is saying that they're not offering a viable economic proposal in all of this. Something I've been thinking about, and I don't even know if they could do it, but I almost wish the WNBA had enough funds that they could buy back their percentage from the NBA and they could just run the league themselves. Now, I don't actually think that the WNBA has enough just from the previous years where they weren't profitable to be able to buy the NBA's shares back. But I almost want to see, like, if the NBA did just remove itself from the picture, could the WNBA self-sustain? If the NBA wasn't in the picture, could the WNBA succeed on its own? Then they should be able to pay the ladies the revenue split that they're asking for. But could it be a league that could sustain for many, many years? I just don't know. But at this point in time, that's one of the biggest reasons as to why this is so messy. But in the past, the NBA was the reason that the WNBA was able to run the way that it was and use the facilities and use the arenas, because for the longest time, the WNBA hasn't been profitable. Now, the NFLPA also just put out a statement today, and it said the NFLPA stands in solidarity with the WNBPA and its fight for a collective bargaining agreement that reflects the players' undeniable impact on the league's growth. It's time for fair compensation, proper working conditions, and a future that puts players first. And it says we stand with the players. There have been other things like this that have been going around on social media. Like, one of them was politicians were also saying that they stand with the WNBPA. I don't know how this changes anything. Like, this just, it feels performative. Like, that's great that the NFL players are standing with the players and want them to get paid more and whatnot, but I don't think this changes anything. I don't think the WNBA or its owners care about a post on social media. So you guys let me know in the comments below, like, do you think that they're going to get this done? Like, my brain, you can probably tell by the tone of my voice, like, all of this stuff is just draining at this point. I don't know what's going on. It's so much he said, she said. I also wanted to share with you guys that ESPN and Athletes Unlimited have announced a multi-year partnership that strengthens ESPN's role as an official broadcast partner for AU's professional leagues in softball, basketball, and volleyball. And if you guys don't know, Athletes Unlimited is another off-season league for WNBA players. Athletes Unlimited was also around well before Unrivaled was. It is a 5 5v5 professional basketball league. And it looks like ESPN will be broadcasting some of these games. Now, if we look at the basketball players who are part of Athletes Unlimited currently, you have players like Ariel Atkins, Sarah Ashley Barker, Kirsten Bell, Lexi Brown, Tina Charles, Caitlin Chen, Alicia Clark. You have Sid Colson, you have Bree Hall, you have Isabel Harrison, Natasha Mack is in there, Anissa Morrow's in there, Kia Nurse, Tahina Pow Pow, Aaliyah Nye, JC Sheldon, Odyssey Sims, Nalissa Smith, Kia Stokes, Bree Turner is also playing in this league. And I thought that this was interesting because, again, it goes to show that some of these television networks and these brands, like we've also talked about in previous videos, they're investing in these off-season leagues. They're taking note of what might be happening in the WNBA, that there might not be a season, and they are starting to invest in some of these off-season leagues. And Athletes Unlimited getting a broadcast partnership with ESPN is actually pretty huge because there hasn't been, honestly, much buzz around this league. So I wonder how the viewership will be if people will tune in. Unrivaled definitely across the board has better players than Athletes Unlimited, but we will just have to see. And last but not least, you guys, I wanted to talk about this segment that NBC is currently doing with Michael Jordan. And before the NBA season, they were hyping up that Michael Jordan was going to be a part of the broadcast team. And so many of us were wondering, like, is he going to be in the studio? Like, what kind of segments is Michael Jordan going to be doing? And now we have seen two segments from the one and only Michael Jordan. Both of them have been less than 5 minutes long, and they have been aired on NBC. Now, it seems like Michael Jordan just sat in his house, did an hour-long interview, probably got paid like $10 million to do it because he does not do media. And they are just breadcrumbing us with all of these segments and like slowly releasing them throughout the whole season, which, by the way, if that truly was the deal, kudos to Michael Jordan. He fleeced all of us. But the most recent segment that went out last night was about load management. And Michael Jordan said, you play basketball for 2.5 to 3 hours a day. That's your job. What are you doing the other 21 hours? And he said that load management shouldn't be needed. He talked about wanting to play in every single game because you never know if it's going to be a fan's first time watching you play. He talked about the fans that were in the nosebleed section watching him play, and then also just his competitive spirit. Like, he wanted to prove to everybody how great he was every time he stepped on the court. And I just think these segments are so interesting because we truly have never heard takes from Michael Jordan. He's been somebody who has let his game speak for himself. He's never been one who's heavy in the media. He's never had a podcast. He's never really done anything like this. And it almost adds to the aura about Michael Jordan. And as me being somebody who didn't even get to watch him play very much because I was just too young at the time when he was in his golden era, it's just cool to see him commenting on certain things. But then at the same time, the mystery of Michael Jordan has almost made him this kind of untouchable superstar. So I do wonder, the more and more that he is in the media and the more takes that we hear from him, like, will it create something where NBA old heads or people who are used to watching the Michael Jordan era of basketball and before, are they going to resonate with him so much that the new age of basketball, it's like a turnoff to them? Because you already see people saying, like, see, this is why he's the greatest, this and that. Or is it something where, people were also saying this new era of basketball is such a faster pace than it was in the 90s. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up because I think more than anything, it's just truly fascinating. We have not heard from Michael Jordan. And even with these like few minute clips that we're seeing every single week, it's creating so much dialogue in the sports world. And I think it will continue to do that, especially if they ask those controversial or thought starting questions. So you guys let me know in the comments below, like, do you want to see more of Michael Jordan? Do you think that he should just stay a mystery and stay like the mysterious GOAT that he is? Also, of course, let me know all of your thoughts on the WNBA, the off-season things, the CBA. My brain hurts from it. I hope that they can figure something out soon because I'm a little tired of covering it, okay? I truly am. It's a lot of drama. It's more drama than I want to talk about. But with that, you guys, if you enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up. Click that little subscribe button because we upload new videos every week. And with that, I'll see you guys next time. Uwiana.